ब्रह्मा गुरु विष्णु गुरुदेवो महेश्वरा गुरु साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम राम हरे। In continuation to the book reading of Namacharya Srila Haridasa Thakura, within a short time, the unfortunate Ramachandra, who had been trying to avoid paying his income tax to the noble government, was punished severely. The government's Minister of Finance came to his residence. He stayed in Durga Mandapa and killed a cow and cooked the meat there. He arrested Ramachandra Khan and his wife and sons and then continuously plundered the house and village for 3 days. In the same spot that had been refused to Lord Nityananda, the minister cooked the flesh of a cow for 3 consecutive days. Then the next day he left, accompanied by his follower. The Mohammedan minister took away Ramachandra Khan's position, wealth, and followers. For many days the village remained deserted. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakura describes the incident in more graphic terms. Consequently, when Lord Nityananda with his entourage of Vaishnavas arrived a few days afterwards in the mandapa of Ramachandra, the evil disposed Ramachandra, treating him with contempt, said that his spacious mandapa would not accommodate him and his boasty personal adherents, but that he was prepared to house him in his cowshed. On hearing this, the Lord went away to another village. By means of this load of iniquity, which now reached its full weight, Ramachandra speedily brought down upon himself the most terrible destructions. In consequence of delay prompted by avarice in payment of revenue to the Mohammedan ruler of the country, the Yavana monarch forcibly entered his mandapa, polluted it for good by slaughter of animals and other similar acts, plundered all the wealth of Ramachandra, and finally spat into his mouth, and even compelled him to swallow objectionable blood and flesh of animals, etc. Ramachandra was made aware by this event that his temporary greatness had been the merest of tripods. Such greatness, the existence of which is liable to be destroyed in a moment, can never be the permanent means of obtaining the highest good. Raghava Chaitanya Prabhu remarks, Ramachandra Khan lost his caste, his wealth, his relations, and everything he possessed as his own. Offences when committed against the devotees of the Lord are not forgiven even by Bhagavan himself. They are the worst impediments in the path of God realization. Offences committed against the bhaktas bring along with them manifold sufferings not only to the person concerned but even to many others. Over and above this, it brings complete destruction of the place, that is, the village or township itself. In many ways, modern materialists are worse off than Ramachandra Khan. Like Ravana, Ramachandra Khan was personally rebuked by the Lord. He immediately received the results of his iniquity, and he could appreciate the gravity of his fall from his former opulent position. Modern materialists appear to enjoy the protection of the demon forces of Kali, so they generally are not seen to be suffering the results of abominable acts like cow killing and exploitation of the earth and other living beings. Without intercession by compensate Vaishnavas, however, their fate will be very bleak. Vaishnavas do not eagerly anticipate the suffering of materialists or materialistic society, which is under the protection of the forces of Kali. Rather, the Vaishnavas take shelter of powerful devotees like Haridasa Thakura and seek shelter of powerful and seek to follow his example by introducing materialists to the medicinal and electronic effects of chanting Hare Krishna. This incident describing the transformation of a prostitute into a great Vaishnava and the destruction of Ramachandra Khan contains a number of instructive lessons. Perhaps the first and foremost is the power of chanting the Maha Mantra when done so in association of Mahabhagavata and with sincerity and faith. The young woman had certainly committed many sins and was motivated by greed. to approach the Thakura. In spite of her passion for wealth and possessions, she possessed an excellent quality. She had a natural instinct to respect sadhus and the sacred place. Raghava Chaitanya Prabhu comments, she was not a scholar in any sense. She was neither convinced nor converted by polemics or a show miracle or supernatural powers. Her reformation was brought about by the simple method of listening to the holy name and its repetition, and her natural receptive disposition completed the work. A spiritual aspirant must possess a natural instinct to pay due respect to sadhus and other godly objects. They must never underestimate them on any ground. The words emanating from the lips of pure devotees are not material sounds. They are, on the contrary, transcendental sounds capable of producing the most marvelous experiences in the heart of submissive listeners. An aspirant who longs to follow the path of God realization must submissively hear the holy name uttered by genuine sadhus. After serving the devotee, the holy name is to be accepted from him as a special favor, and the holy name is to be chanted constantly in the holy company, full observing all his instructions. Thus, the second significant understanding which can be derived from this incident is that without sufficient pity, which can only be generated by the pity of association with saintly persons, it is not possible to take up the path of bhakti. This principle is discussed at length by Krishnadasa Kaviraja Goswami in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. There are unlimited conditioned souls who are bereft of Lord's Krishna service. Not knowing how to cross the ocean of nuisance, they are scattered by waves, time and tide. However, some are fortunate to contact devotees, and by this contact they are delivered from the ocean of nuisance, just as log floating down a river accidentally washes upon the bank. By good fortune, one becomes eligible to cross the ocean of sea sands, and when one's term of material existence decreases, one may get an opportunity to associate with pure devotees. By such association, one's attraction to Krishna is awakened. In the purport to the above verse, Srila Prabhupada, citing the explanation of Srila Bhakti Vinoda Thakura, states, in this bhagya, fortune, the result of an accident or something else, is this bhagya. In the scriptures, devotional service and pious activity are considered fortunate. Pious activities can be divided into three categories. Pious activities that awaken one's dormant Krishna consciousness are called bhaktya unmukhi sukriti. Pious activities that bestow material opulence are called bhogonmukhi, and pious activities that enable the living entity to merge into the existence of the Supreme are called mokshanamukhi. These last two kinds of pious activities are not actually fortunate. Pious activities are fortunate when they help one become Krishna consciousness. The good fortune of bhaktya unmukti is attainable only when one comes in contact with a devotee. By associating with a devotee willingly or unwillingly, one advances in devotional service, and thus one's dormant Krishna consciousness is awakened. Krishna also states in Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, 20 chapter, 8th verse to Uddhava, just prior to his departure from the material world. Somehow or other, if one is attracted to talks about me and has faith in the instructions I have set forth in Bhagavad Gita, and if one is actually detached from material things and material existence, his dormant love for me will be awakened by devotional service. I'll stop here and summarize today's reading. Prabhuji, can you just scroll from the starting here? I think the highlighted portion should be fine. So it is clearly seen here that when whenever performs any blasphemy against a devotee, and like how Ramachandra has treated Lord Nityananda, and that showed that over the period of time he had experienced his um, behaviors towards the Vaishnava, which made him fall down because from his position of wealth and other followers, he was literally treated in a very bad condition by the Mohammedan ministers. The place where he did not allow Lord Nityananda to be seated, and and allowed him to perform the devotional service, literally was turned into a slaughtering house. Uh, and Ramachandra lost his caste and wealth and everything he possessed of his own as he committed offenses against the devotees of the Lord are not even forgiven. This is one of a good example. So every day when we do our prayers and among one of the 10 commandments, we do read that never blaspheme any devotee. So this is a very good example to bear in mind and try to avoid not committing blasphemy against any Vaishnava devotees. Another second understanding from today's reading is that without sufficient pity, no one can get associated with saintly persons, nor it is able to take up the bhakti path unless we come in contact with the great saintly persons. Krishna himself has stated in Srimad Bhagavatam in the 11th canto that somehow or other, when a person comes in contact with his devotees or saintly person and tries to hear about him, the Krishna consciousness, which is already dormant, existing in every living entity, will be awakened by devotional service. So I summarize over here